In today's video, we will review consumer and producer inflation, mortgage rates, retail sales, also manufacturer indexes, and of course, real estate market update for Southwest Florida, May 2023. My name is Anna Eckstein, Naples Ultimate Luxury Group, MVP Realty. Let's start with inflation. So this is consumer inflation. And of course, we're comparing inflation rate to a core inflation. So inflation rate for the month of May 2023 is actually decreased to 4.0% year over year period, and also increase 0.1% month over month, and easing from 0.4% in the previous months, which was April. So the core inflation is the inflation that excluded volatile items such as food and energy. And that inflation was also decreased to 5.3% in May 2023 from 5.5% in the prior months, but also increased month over month by 0.4%. Now, federal government, of course, they more worry about the sticky inflation, and sticky inflation, that's our service inflation, and that's, of course, core inflation. So the regular inflation is not, it's still a problem, but it's being decreased so much because of the energy. As we can see on a second page, if you like to go in more in details, you can pause and you can see the overall month after month, how the inflation was traveling based on, let's say, food at home or food away from home, also the energy. Remember, we talked about that inflation month over month is actually an over year decrease to 4.0%. Well, that's because of this energy. You can see how the energy cost based on everything, and majority was like the gasoline, for example. As you can see, it was going down month over month, and it still decreased in May by minus 5.6%. But when you start looking some sticky items like the shelter, so the federal government really trying to lower the inflation on the services, and you can see services less than energy. If you take a look, the shelter still up 0.6%. The transportation services still up 0.8%. Medical care still up 0.4%. I'm sorry, 6%. And interesting, I was kind of surprised when I was looking at this report. We had such a inflation was going down in the used cars, and you can see the new cars is actually down 0.1% in May, month over month. But you can see the spike inflation in the used cars because it's in April was trending, actually from March was trending minus 0.9% to up 4.4% in April, and still sticky in May of 4.4%. We'll see what happens next month. But I just wanted to share. So if you like to pause and take a look more in details for the services or for items that you're interested in, please do that. All right, let's move on to producer price index. Producer price index is what it costs to producer to produce services and goods. And if that being inflated, of course, at some point, they will be transferring that inflation to the consumer side. That's why it's always interesting, and you need to pay attention what's going on producing side, not only on consumer side. So you can see that producer price index, again, we're reviewing core and we're reviewing regular. It's been actually trending down, and you can see that it's way below to 1.1% in May of 2023, with 0.2% decreased to 0.3%, following 0.2% actually rising in April. So you can see it's definitely trending down, but the core, that's the one that we have been troubling with, the sticky inflation. So you can see that core, it still sits at 2.9% and rose month over month by 0.2%. So let's move on to the payroll. So as we know, the federal government trying to fight so hard, Mr. Powell working so hard to try to bring the inflation down, but putting more pressure on the economy. And our economy has definitely been resilient throughout this year. And again, when we look in non-farm payroll, and that being added 339,000 jobs in May 2023. Unemployment rate still remained to be strong at 3.7%. So average hourly earnings also being increased by 4.3% year after year, and rose by 11 cents on average for non-farm payrolls by 11 cents, equal to 0.3% in the month of May. If we look in initial jobless claims, you also see they slightly start going in up, and this is initial to 264,000 on a week ending June 17. Continued jobless claims, they still remain at 1,759,000 in a week of June 10. So moving on to the interest rate. So as you know, the federal government had a meeting this month in May, and they decided to keep internal rate at 5.25%. So they didn't raise the interest rate this month. There were indications that would be at least, Mr. Powell indicated that he that would be indication that would be increasing at least 2 more times the rate. And they did increase the projection rate for the current year to 5.6%. And this was a revision. You can see basically the right column, that's what being revised. That was that when they meeting in April, that's what the prediction was for the rates to stay. And you can see it has been revised for the higher rate. So higher rate and a longer rate, right? And increasing rate 1 year projection also keep remain for so the first year, we're talking about, so current year is a 2023. The first year, 2024. You can see the second year would be 2025. And longer stay would be the internal rate as of the last meeting, 2.5%. Now, the next meeting will be in July, and we'll see what that can bring us. So retail sale, the reason why I'm sharing with you, for example, retail sale, you'll say, oh, Anna, what they have to do with the real estate market in Southwest Florida. In these videos, I always wanted to share not only what's going on in our local real estate market in Southwest Florida, which we're covering for cities, but also I wanted to show to you what's going on in the broader economy throughout the United States, including some data on the real estate. But also wanted to show to you what the state of the economy that we are in right now. And retail sales, you can see year over year, they're going in down. You can clearly see, you don't even need to interpret this chart that much, right? As federal government trying to get this economy to slow down so we can bring the inflation down, because the target rate for the inflation, it's always been, I don't know if it's changed in the future, it's 2%. That's what they wanted to see. So you can see clearly right now, we're not quite there yet. They have still a lot of work to do. And the reason why I showed you retail sales, so you can understand what our economy doing, our economy getting weaker. And this is the retail side. Now, let's take a look, manufacturer PMI, service PMI. Anything that you see now in manufacturing, it's all being construction. And you can see that its PMI keep falling. In April, we had 48.4. So anything under 50 is considering to be in a construction stage. And you can see it's been going in downward month after month. If you watching my reports, you can understand where we at. If you look in import prices, export prices year after year, you would wonder, why do we need to know what's going on there? Well, this is our global economy, guys. If you not understand that it's not only United States trouble, if you take a look what's happening in UK, this is horrible. I feel so bad for those people because their inflation over 8%. And they've been continue to raise. I think they raised the last time, just maybe a week or so ago, by 50 basis points. rate because they're trying to bring the inflation down. Inflation is not good for anybody, but special for the average person who lives and have a paycheck to the paycheck and struggle with that. The rate of the pay raises going in, your paycheck doesn't go as much as inflation. And think about these people in the UK. I was reading this one article. It says that it's actually 30% homes in the UK that owns by that they have mortgages. But even that, think about just 30%, right? In the UK, it's very different the way how in the United States, we have on average 30-year mortgage. So you lock in your rate, you know, it's 6.5, at least you know it will be for the next 30 years unless you refinance. Well, in the UK, those people lock their mortgages in 3% interest rate, right? Let's say 4% interest rate. Right now, it's a different scenario. And they refinance those mortgages there. They don't have 15-year mortgages. They don't have 30. They have 3 to 5 year mortgages that they have to refinance. Think about to all those people that already been struggling with the paychecks not being raised, inflation over 8%. Now they have to refinance their homes for the higher rate and increase the monthly payment. I mean, think about. That's why I share with you all this data, because this is not only correlates to United States. This is the entire global economy to show to you how weakening this is month after month. You can see how this positive numbers goes in a negative numbers. The same export prices, you can see from positive to negative. This is not rocket science. You look at this and you're like, well, that doesn't look good. Even though stock market went up like 40%. So that's, interesting. So anyway, import prices month after month. You can see also how they struggle in this. And this is just black and white, how you can see. And you just keep wondering, like, how much more trouble. I mean, China, take a look what's happening to China. They start putting stimulus because their economy in trouble, their real estate in trouble. I'm not even talking about our commercial real estate, which I spoke a little bit in the last video, that would be do refinance again within 2023, 2024, 2025. And those rates, there will be horrible for those businesses, because they not only have a vacancies, the biggest trouble right now, our commercial real estate is offices, because, work at home behavior was really attractive at the COVID, and a lot of people decided to stay work at home, and those offices, they're just vacant. And it's really like some people say, well, just convert them to the apartment complexes. It's not as simple for a majority of those buildings because of the plumbing, just how they constructed. So this would be something that would be unfold and to be seen how bad this would be. But I will tell you this, if the businesses already struggle, not only fulfill those vacancies, but also they will be doubling or tripling to what they're paying right now, and this is economy get weaker and weaker and weaker. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball to see what happened, but I don't see anything good off of it. Let's say this way. So you can see this is New York Empire Manufacturing Index. You can see how that's been struggling through all this time. You can see Philadelphia Manufacturing Index, Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index. You can see all of this negative numbers. I mean, this is, guys, I'm just saying it doesn't look good. I'm not an economist in any shape or form, but by looking at the simple charts and see everything in negative, we'll see what the future brings. Let's talk about the mortgage rate. So the mortgage rate, as you can see, for the June 16, 2023, we sat at the 30-year fixed rate with confirming loan balance is 726,200. We are sitting right now at 6.73. The application is actually, mortgage applications were 0.5% higher in the week of the June 16. Following jump actually in the previous week was 7.2. If you take a look, refinancing index decreased to 2.1. And the purchase index actually increased to 1.5. And this is as of the week, June 16. And if we're looking at the building permits, this is something that I thought would be interesting to share with you. we actually increased by 5.6% in annual rate of 1,496,000,000 in May of 2023. And this has been for the previous two consecutive months was actually in decline. And new home sales, quite interesting. I thought was like, whoa, when I was looking that, I mean, look at this. We already struggle somewhat with inventory, right? But new home sales jumped by 12.2% month over month. And look at this, it sold 763 homes in May of 2023. Is the biggest rise since actually August of last year. That was quite a bit change. So I guess everybody decided to buy new. I mean, not everybody, but many people decided to purchase a new construction in the month of May. So going back to more nationwide, and we will get to the local stats pretty soon here. So stay with me. If we look in the Shiller, the Shiller Home Price Index, and this is taking 20 larger cities in the United States, and they see what the pricing fluctuating for a single family home in the month of April. That's the latest data actually came out, I believe, like today or yesterday. So they've been tracking a little bit behind than May, but I just decided to share because it is the most recent data that you can have. It's fell by 1.7%. Also, the home price index month over month, it's increased by 1.7%. If we're looking for a average price of single family houses for the mortgages guaranteed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, you can see that it's rose year over year, 3.1%, and month over month, 0.7%. So these services that I follow for quite some time, actually for a few years, and I just wanted briefly to share with you the data that they have shared with for the real estate market update for a month of June. So they said they decided to name the two years that we had, 2020 and 2021, called unicorn years. And they wanted just to compare a data because a lot of the economists right now, they comparing this year, let's say, for compared to the last year, but they don't take in consideration that the most unique 2 years that we had with such an odd sales and showing history. So that's why they decided to put the data together and show the 6 years period so you can guys understand how unique and different those 2 years, 2020, 2021 really were. And you can see here the home appreciation that on average year, so last year was still actually appreciated. This is not a local data. This is throughout the United States. But you can see that it's average year where we actually have a 5% appreciation. But for those 2 years that we had 11 and 18%. So if we go in, and this is sourced, by the way, from Realtor.com. This is what they got a data. And also for the pending listings, you can also see that what we experienced in 2023 is actually quite normal year compared to a regular years that we had 2017. But you can see that 2021 and 2022, you can see how the pending was surging in the pending listings. They're showing traffic. You also clearly can see the difference, right? Medium days on the market, you can see how those 2 years was significantly decreased compared to the 2023. Home sales, this is again nationwide. You can also see how the difference those 2 years would be. Months of inventory, again, our inventory was so little at that time, and it started rebalancing back, but we're still not quite to where we used to be for those years. So fewer foreclosure also, and I don't know if you remember or not, the government actually restricted to even foreclose on those homes because we were in pandemic situation. So you can definitely see that, unfortunately, the foreclosures is a little bit up, but they not near up that we had in 2017, 18, or 19. So now let's talk about a local Southwest Florida market. So here we're covering Naples, Marco Island, Bonita Springs, and Estero area. And let's start with active inventory. So in this part of the video, we're covering what happened 30 days ago and what happened a year ago. And when we say active inventory, is the homes that were active during the month of May a year ago in comparison, and 30 days ago. So what happened compared to April 2023. So you could clearly see that we definitely have more active inventory across the board, regardless if you're looking for a single family home or a condo in Southwest Florida. So a year ago, we definitely now have more active inventory, and you can clearly see the percentage based on the city. Compared to the 30 days ago, it's kind of some very minor, I would say it's pretty much flat. It's not much what is, difference. Like Naples, we have a little bit lost inventory in the May compared just to 30 days ago, but nothing much significant. You can really clearly see a year ago significance in that. So if we're going into a new listings, is how many listings been added to our local real estate market in the month of May compared to a year ago, compared to the 30 days ago. So you can clearly see it's kind of, if you're looking for condos, you definitely kind of lost some of the new listings in the month of May. But in some areas like Marco Island, if you're looking for a single family home, you definitely gained 13% compared to a year ago. For the single family home, you can clearly see that compared to the 30 days ago, some significant numbers in Estero, you saw a decrease of single family homes, and pretty much the same for condos, 30 days difference. So decrease between 17 to 10%. And if we're going in month supply, it's how long would take if you would put your property in the month of May, it's how long would take generally on average to sell your property. So on the middle, you can see I put months. So you don't need to, I mean, you can see the percentage because we're always comparing, but if you wanted just to see how many months, like in Naples on average would take, if you would sell your single family home, and again, every neighborhood is different. So this is just the average. If you're looking for a specific information in your neighborhood, I'll be more than happy to prepare a report just like this, but just personally for you and for your neighborhood. And I'll be more than happy to prepare a comparable market analysis for your home in detail with my marketing plan. So if you're a seller, if you're thinking of selling, I'll be more than happy to prepare for you, send you via email. So, and you can see that would take about 4.1 months in Naples to sell single family home if you have. But if you're in Marco Island, it could take you up to 8 months, right? Around 8 months. So the same thing, if you're looking to sell a condo, you can see clearly there's how many months. That's your monthly supply of inventory. And you can see across the board on the left side that compared to a year ago, you definitely have more inventory. And we've been talking through all these videos that, yes, we're definitely getting inventory. There's no question here. So it's not, this number should not be a surprise to everybody. But I wanted to share with you so you stay on top of all your real estate news in Southwest Florida. If you compare to 30 days, you can clearly see that the single family homes is pretty much flat throughout the board. They didn't change. So these numbers basically they stay the same. And you can see maybe a little bit in Estero, you lose by 12%. So it's improvement on how many months your condo would be staying in Estero. And you can compare to all of the three other cities. It's actually the lowest, it's 2.2 months. So we're definitely a little bit shorter on inventory on the condos in Estero. So moving on to showing per listing. So why that important? So if you're a buyer, you're thinking about, oh, how much competition do I have? How many buyers looking? So on average, you can see in Naples is 4.8 showing per listings on the active listings per month. So it's not how many showings you have to have until you sell. it's on active. So if your property is staying in the month of May for sale, and you're the seller, you can understand that on average you will have 4.8 showings. And you can also see on the condos as well, and you can see how they change. So it's a little bit decreased. You can see that demand is definitely a little bit down, as much as 50%, like in Bonita, or on the condos 49%, and to a year ago. But also you have a little bit demand decrease compared to the 30 days, as much as 26% in Marco Island. And on the condos, it's about the same, 20%, 16 and 16 minus in Bonita and in Naples. So you can see that we lost pretty much demand between a year ago and even 30 days ago. The 30 days, if you're wondering why we're losing demand, we're going in an hour off season in Southwest Florida. So many of our snowbirds will be leaving by the end of the April, go back to home and enjoy the summer. So that's the reason why you see this decrease in showings per listing. So if we go into a pending inventory and we can compare, it's how many homes went under contract in the month of May compared to a year ago. So you can see we definitely actually have an increase in Marco Island on a single family home, as much as 55%. And you can see in Bonita, we actually have decrease for our condos for a year ago, as much as 41%. And if you're looking for a 30 days significance of these numbers, you can see Bonita and Estero. They lost about 30 to 31% of the pending homes compared to 30 days ago. And you can see some losses as well, percentage as much as 35% on the condos in Bonita Springs. Again, the pending inventory and showings, it's kind of working all together. And the reason why, because again, in my opinion, we do losing some that sales momentum in the summer months compared to a seasonality, which is in our winter months and early spring. So if you look in median price of last list price, is the percentage of how much the property sold from the list price. So clearly on the middle, you can see that percentage. And here on the left is the 30-day period. You can see there's not much. It stay very close at 2.8%, 3.5%. I don't see a significant difference in that price if you really start thinking about as the price is the 100%, right? So for the April, very minimum, pretty much everything is flat, but the numbers here for you, so if you like to pause and take the look them more in detail. If we're going in back and look the median price per square foot, the median price per square foot also slightly decreased on a single family homes compared to a year ago. On the middle, you can see the actual median price per square foot based on the city. Now, this number, it doesn't mean that it's in your neighborhood. This means the median price per square foot in Naples. And we have all kinds of price per square foot in Naples, Marco Island, Bonita, or Estero. So again, if you're looking more specifically to your neighborhood, it's very easy to reach me. My information will be below in every my video. My phone number is 239-249-4476. I'll be more than happy to prepare more detailed report based on your real estate needs. So let's move on to medium sales price. Exactly the same where I just mentioned on price per square foot. It's a good idea to understand what is the medium sales price in your city. But if you're more interested in your neighborhood, just please reach me out and I'll be more than happy to prepare for you the report. So if we're going in dollar value, you can see that dollar value is in Naples. First of all, on the middle, you can see that dollar value is all the properties that sold for the month of May based on the cities. But you can clearly see that we down as much as 19% in Naples on single family homes, but up 37% in Marco Island. And for the condos, we're down also in Naples by 20%, and Marco, we're down by 11%. The 30 days, you can see actually we have quite increase in Naples as much as 40%. And Marco Island, you can see on the condos increase as much as 41%. So there's definitely were sold more expensive homes or more homes overall. And that's where we're going in next in the closed sales. So this is my last chart. And this is how you can see that in Naples, remember we saw that was the dollar value was higher month over month, right? And now you can see the closed sales was also higher. So it's not only more expensive homes sold in Naples, but this is how you look these two charts. So you comparing them. Oh, okay. So we have more closed sales, number one, by 11%, but then we also have the dollar value by this much. So you can clearly see the chart, and it's interesting because if you look in May and you compare condos, actually in the Naples area, you can see that compared to May 2022, we actually down in the closed sales by 80%. That's quite a bit. That's a lot. So this is my last chart that I would like to share with you on Southwest Florida Real Estate Market Report, May 2023. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please like and subscribe this video. It helps Google algorithm to show this video to more people and who will be interested in Southwest Florida real estate market. My name is Anna Eckstein with Naples Ultimate Luxury Group, MVP Realty. Thanks so much, and see you next video.